Hi, I'm Leah, and we're going to be teaching you how to use the electric slicer. First off, you need to be 18 years or older, and you need to be properly trained by a supervisor. Be aware of your surroundings and make sure the floors are clean so you don't slip and hurt yourself while using the slicer. You need to be using 2 Kevlar gloves, and on top of the Kevlar gloves, you need to wear vinyl gloves. This protects from any small nicks and cuts, but won't protect from any big cuts from the blade. To familiarize you with the parts of the slicer, we have the product holder right here. This is where you put the product so you can slide it. This is the handle of the carriage for the product so you can move it across. This knob adjusts the thickness so you can make thin or very thick slices. And then you need to make sure that the blade guard is in place before putting the product on. Make sure that knob is tight. Make sure this knob, which holds the carriage, is tight. And this button, when you pull it, it turns it on, and push it, it turns it off. So first off, you need to make sure all the knobs are tight and that all the safety devices are in place. You need to make sure the grip and fence are in place. And then when ready to slice, you can pull up the grip, put the product in, and then make sure it's locked into place. After making sure everything is safe, you are ready to go. And additionally, the slicer should be maintained regularly and should be sharpened.
Hi, I'm Bailey, and I'll be teaching you how to operate the slicer today. Make sure that you have Kevlar gloves on and vinyl gloves over to protect yourself from the blade. So, when you're going to slice the product, make sure first that the machine is unplugged and that this button is pushed in so that it's in the off position. When you put your product into the carriage, you'll have the product holder over it and you'll lock it in place. You'll then select the slicer thickness. So in order to do that, you do the knob and you twist it to the preferred thickness. We'll do 5 for the example. Make sure you choose the thickness before you plug in and turn on the slicer. So once your product is in place and the product holder is locked, you can, and your slicer thickness is chosen, you can plug in the machine. To turn on, you'll pull the button out, and you can hear that the machine is started. Make sure that there's no grinding noises or screeching. If there is, turn it off and unplug it immediately. So when you go to slice, you can put your right hand on the carriage handle and the left hand on the product holder. You'll simply move this way across the blade and back. Once you're done slicing, you can turn off the slicer, put the blade back to 0, and unplug the machine. When slicing, make sure that you have a bucket or parchment paper to catch the product as it comes out of the slicer.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm going to be teaching you how to disassemble the electric slicer. So before we begin, make sure you wear your Kevlar gloves with vinyl gloves on top. It's very important to make sure that the slicer is off, and by that, the button is pushed in, and the knob is 0. Also, to make sure that the slicer is unplugged. First, we're going to remove the product carriage, and by doing that, we are going to twist off this knob.
Make it work for one. No problem. Or you could try the 100 and just round it. Throw it on the scale and weigh it. 100 rounded is about the
Remove
same
the
as
product
70.
carriage and place it onto the counter. Next, we're going to remove the blade. So there's a knob in the back to unscrew it. remove it and place it on the counter. Now the slicer is disassembled.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm going to teach you how to clean the electric slicer. First, make sure that you have your Kevlar gloves and your vinyl gloves on top, and make sure that the slicer is unplugged. First, we're going to take our solution of hot water and soap, and we're going to wipe down the slicer with this. Make sure that you get all around the slicer in every crevice. And make sure that for the blade, you clean from the inside out. Make sure you get behind it, and you can get a friend to help you lift the slicer so that you can clean underneath it. Next, we're going to rinse it with water. And then finish with sanitizer. Now we're going to let it air dry. You can put all the removable parts, such as the blade cover and the carriage, in the 3-compartment sink to wash, or you can use a dishwasher if that is available to you. Now we're going to reassemble. Make sure that your slicer is still unplugged and that you have your Kevlar gloves and your vinyl gloves on top. We're going to start with the blade guard. Place the blade guard over the blade as so. Making sure it's in place. And take the knob and secure the knob in the back of the slicer. Now we're going to put the product carriage back on. Place the product carriage onto the slicer. Position so it's 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch away from the slicer. Take the knob. And screw the carriage back into the slicer. Until it's tight and secure. You can use a slicer for meats, but you can also use it for vegetables such as tomatoes and cucumbers, and also cheeses to get uniform slices.